Welcome to the Sam and Joe VA Show, where we teach women just like you how to start and scale a thriving virtual assistant business.
We're your hosts, Sam and Joe, and get ready to have the control, flexibility, and freedom you've always dreamed of.
Welcome to episode 203, Why So Many VAs Aren't Earning Minimum Wage.
Long gone are the days where the only virtual assistants in the VA space were those that were in it for a side gig, bit of extra cash, side hustle, some pocket money. We're seeing more and more virtual assistants that are in the VA space because they want to replace their 9-to-5 income. They have families that they need to support. Being a virtual assistant needs to be profitable for these virtual assistants. They're working 40 hours or close to 40 hours a week. For the most part, that's client work, but it's not showing up in their bank account. In fact, until they do their taxes at the end of the financial year, they don't even realize they are barely making minimum wage. This is heartbreaking.
Oh my gosh, it is so heartbreaking because, we're in business to make money. We're in business to support our families. We're in business so that we don't have to go back to a 9-to-5 grind and a commute. We're in business so we can have some flexibility and spend time with our family. It needs to make money and more than minimum wage. Otherwise, what's the point? Just go back to a 9-to-5 and be earning a whole lot more.
Yeah, there's lots of virtual assistants that are, that first year in business. Maybe they're not keeping track of their finances, the numbers side of business. And they're shocked. They're shocked at tax time when they go, wow, all of that work for that amount?
Yeah. It's very disheartening, I would say. And look, I've been there. I have absolutely been there when I was paying myself for more years than I would like to admit. Back in the early days, I was paying myself $500 a week. That is way, way below, even back then, like a decade ago, that is way below minimum wage.
Oh, yeah, same here. I think it's a really common trap to fall into, especially when you've come from a 9-to-5 employee background straight into the VA space. And you just don't realize the differences, right? You don't realize the difference between being an employee and being a business owner. You don't know the difference between income, revenue, profit.
Yeah. I mean, good point. Let's start there where we actually go through what is revenue, what is expenses, and what is profit. So your revenue, it could be called your turnover. It could be called income. So the revenue is the dollar amount of all of the invoices that you send out to your clients or other income that you get coming in. That is your top line. That is your revenue. The money that's going to come into your bank account as a business for the year. That is your revenue. And then your expenses, that could be your costs. It could be called your overheads. Those are the bills that you need to pay, the expenses that you pay, the times that you use your business FPOS card. Those are your expenses, your outgoings out of your business bank account. So if we take the revenue minus the expenses, and in this very simple terms, okay, so don't come at me with your that's not exactly right. Revenue minus expenses equals your profit. And the profit is where you are going to be able to get money to pay yourself, your own personal income. Very different to your revenue, very different to the hourly rate that you charge out to your clients. You do not get your whole hourly rate. That is not your pay.
Wouldn't it be nice if you did?
Exactly. This is why we talk so much about making sure that you price right, because that's not the money that you're paying yourself, because you need to pay expenses as a business owner, expenses that you don't have as an employee. So when you go from employee and you start your VA business and you're like, oh, I'll just do my hourly rate that I was getting paid as an employee. No, that is way too low. And that is how you were one reason why you are going to absolutely not be able to pay yourself over minimum wage is because we need to have a much higher hourly rate as a virtual assistant than we did as an employee.
Yeah. What are the current minimum hourly rates in both New Zealand and Australia, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, you may not even be aware because they have just gone up. So in New Zealand, it is $23.15 per hour. So if you are working 40 hours a week, that equates to $48,152 for the year. And that is before tax. So tax needs to come off that as well. In Australia, it is $24.10 per hour. So if you're doing a 40-hour week, that equates to $50,128, also before tax.
That might be surprising numbers for a few of you listening.
Mm.
And we understand, you might be working the 40-hour week. Not all of those 40 hours are going to be billable hours. Once again, something that a lot of virtual assistants don't keep in mind. Like,
Yeah.
that can't all be billable.
Just another reason why your hourly rate needs to be much more than your hourly rate that you're being paid as an employee, right? Because it
Yeah.
needs to cover the time working on your business, getting more clients, doing your admin, sending out your invoices, all of that stuff.
You also need to think about, you're going to want to take a holiday. You're going to have times throughout the year that you're sick. It all needs to be built in. Okay, we've got 9 reasons why you, as a virtual assistant that's working all the hours, you think that you're fully booked or close to being booked, but you're not
Mhm.
making minimum wage. 9 reasons why this might be happening.
Yeah.
Number 1 is, Joe, you touched on it earlier, you're just simply pricing too low. Now, this can be for a number of reasons. One of the big ones is you feel like you have to have a low rate in order to get clients, in order to become fully booked. You have to be cheap. There's so much competition out there. The only reason someone's going to hire you if it's at a low rate.
Or we're in a recession, so no one can afford to pay high rates.
Ooh, don't get caught up in someone else's recession, Joe.
Yeah. The reason why we've put this number one and why we've already talked about it in this episode is because this is the number one reason why you are likely not able to pay yourself minimum wage. Like, you have to price right from the beginning, right now, change it right now if you are too low. If you're not sure what a good rate is, what the going rate is, what is premium, what is too low, then we have a pricing calculator for freelancers that's available down below in the show notes.
Great resource. Next up, number 2 on our list is you're not making minimum wage because you're discounting. Now, once again, this could be for a number of reasons too, but a big one is you are actually unable to communicate your value, communicate the value of a virtual assistant, being able to talk about the return on investment.
Yeah. And what that does is it attracts the wrong people into your business. If you're discounting and they say yes because they got a discount, like, they're likely to be the pain in the ass clients. We call them pitter clients. They're probably going to question the invoice and not want to pay for time that you've spent doing something. And they're going to want even more of a discount. They're always going to be
Mhm.
focused on the money part of the relationship. Those are not the
Yeah.
clients you want.
No, you need to get really comfortable with leads telling you that they can't afford you,
Mhm.
leads telling you that you are too expensive. It is going to happen. It is not the end of the world. The
Mhm.
worst thing that you could do as soon as this happens is to go into panic mode and offer a discount.
Or we've even seen virtual assistants who it's their default to discount. They make assumptions that no one is ever going to say yes to their standard rates, and they discount because of their own money stories they have, their own affordability issues. They bring those into this conversation and then project those onto their potential client thinking that they are never going to pay their hourly rate. Or maybe you don't believe that your hourly rate is worth it. Like, you have to believe that you can provide that much value to your
Yeah.
client.
We hear a lot of virtual assistants saying, well, I wouldn't pay that. I couldn't afford that. Well, we're not talking about what you would pay. We're not talking about what you can afford to pay. We're talking about a completely different person that you've got no idea their financial situation.
Hmm? You are not your ideal client.
Oh,
Full
love
stop.
that. Say that again, Joe.
You are not your ideal client.
There you go. And if your mother has ever told you, or your father, or your great aunt Gertrude has ever told you that no one's going to pay that, or who on earth is going to pay that, if they are shocked, if you're talking about your business and what you're going to charge out at, you've just got to ignore it. What do they know? Are they in business?
They're also not your ideal client, right? Yeah.
So no more discounts.
No more discounts. Okay, number 3, why you might not be making even barely minimum wage is that you are offering pro bono work. That is free work, not charged. And it might be because you feel like, but I really want to give back. I want to do this for a charity and not for profit. They can't pay anything. They don't have any budget for it. You are not in a position right now to be offering work for free. Whatever excuse you have for it, you are not in a position to do that yet. Down in the future, amazing. Like, yes, we will celebrate you if you get to a position where you are in a financial situation that you feel like you can give away some pro bono work and do some good in the community. Amazing. That is not you right now if you are not earning minimum wage.
Yeah, you may kind of talk your way into this with all the excuses, right? It's like, oh, well, I'm getting experience, or I've got the time. Like, I'm not fully booked yet, so I've got the time. I might as well do good. But you know what? That time that you've got, this little bit of time you may have up your sleeve, you are much better off putting that time into lead generation, actually getting clients that are going to pay you your going rate. Okay, number 4 on our list of the reasons why you might not be bringing in a minimum wage income is you've got overdue debtors. You're not sending your invoices out on the first of the month or whatever day of the month that you're supposed to be sending them out. You're definitely not chasing anyone up when they're late paying you.
Oh, this causes so many issues because it may look like on paper, and if you have a look at your profit and loss statement that shows your profit, you will show that you have a great profit despite the money not being in your bank account. It's how accounting works. So if you've got all of those overdue debtors, you are going to be wondering where all this profit actually is. So those need to be followed up. You need to be on top of your overdue clients. Make sure that you do not leave your invoices unpaid for any length of time, assuming that that client has an issue with the work that you've done or that they're not happy with you. Sometimes they've just missed the invoice and you need to remind them. Sometimes they might be having cash flow issues. Okay, find that out, work that out with them, figure out a plan with them so that they can pay you.
Yeah.
Stop working for clients who aren't paying you.
Gotta stop working. This is something that it doesn't matter how many times we talk about this. Yeah, you've been there, you've done that, you've got the $16,000 loss or whatever it was. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter how much we talk about this. There are virtual assistants that fall into this trap. And it's usually, not always, but it's usually with somebody that they know. It might be a friend of the family. It might be their very first client. They feel loyalty to them. They don't want to just like cut off the work because they need the support. You might feel really sorry for them. Like, you can feel all that. You can be a kind human being, but you still need to remember that Their debt should not affect your business. Their financial issues cannot affect your business. Their financial difficulties cannot then become your financial difficulties because you are giving away time for free.
Yep. Okay, number 5 is that you have your clients on casual hourly rates. So what you're feeling is that you're at capacity, but actually you really have no idea whether you're at capacity or not because things are coming in ad hoc. There's no predictable income each month for the future that you can say, yes, right, I know that this much money is going to come in next month and this is how many hours I am booked. That means that I can work out my capacity and I know that I'm fully booked now or I need one more client. You cannot work that out if you have all your clients on casual hourly rates. And something else too, you will find that you will do far less billable work if you have them on casual hourly rate because you will have more clients than is necessary. And that means more admin and more non-billable time spent managing those clients in your business. So we want predictable income, service plans. We want clients contracted on a minimum spend with you each month so you know what your capacity is and how much money is coming in each month.
If you don't have service plans and packages, you need to get them stat. No more advertising your ad hoc, casual, hourly rate anywhere. We're not saying you can't have that casual ad hoc hourly rate in your back pocket, especially for clients that may be new to outsourcing and they want to kind of have a trial run. They want to test the waters. They want to see how this is going to work. Maybe a good idea to do it for the first month in terms of how many hours they will need ongoing. But you can't be doing it long term. You think you're being this awesome virtual assistant that is offering your clients the ultimate in freedom and flexibility with how they use you or how you support them. But that is not giving you the ultimate in freedom and flexibility. Once again, you're putting your clients before yourself.
Yep.
Okay, number 6 on our list. Feel like a broken record, Joe? Rolling over unused hours. If you don't have a policy in your contract with your clients, making it really clear that you won't roll over unused hours into the next month or the following month or the month after that, you need one. This is best practice. This isn't you doing something immoral.
Yeah. And the reason why this is contributing to you not being able to earn more than minimum wage is because you may have billed your client, let's say during May, they haven't used the hours. So now you're actually working in June for the hours that you've already been paid for, that you already had available in May, but they went unused. And then now you're spending your time where you can't work for other clients. There's just so many issues come out of that. And it means that you are not earning the maximum income that you can from your business because you're letting clients make you be available, but they're not paying you for that time. And then getting you to work the next month. There's so many things wrong with that.
Oh, incredible.
Pained me even saying it and thinking about it.
Yeah. If you're a virtual assistant that has casual hourly rates, that doesn't offer service plans, if you're a virtual assistant that doesn't have a no rollover policy, don't be proud of this. Because I see you guys. I see virtual assistants sharing loud and proud in various communities. Oh no, I would never do that because I'm so much better than you. I'm sorry. Okay. Are you profitable? How are you doing?
Yeah, these are not badges of honor. These are not things to be proud of. Okay, number 7. Oh, this is a goodie. Not tracking your time properly, which means that you are giving a whole bunch of it away for free. How's that working out for you?
Probably not very well. How d this once again, there's so many different consequences to not having your timer on. Like, there's so many. A big one is, like, how do you A, you're not gonna be profitable because 'cause you've just got no idea. You've got no idea what you should be charging them. You're guessing. And we all know that things actually take longer than you think they are or think they are going to.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah. And the other issue is, oh, you might say, no, no, I track my time. Okay, but are you tracking all of the time that you are actually thinking, planning, project managing, communicating, messaging, or reading emails from and for your clients? That time that you're sitting planning out what you're going to do, you need to be charging that to clients. You're planning out what you're going to do for them. You're researching, you're thinking, you're figuring it out. You may not be tapping on your keyboard, but that is all part of doing a really great, high quality job for your clients. All of that needs to be tracked. Otherwise, what will happen, and it's likely if you're not earning minimum wage, this is happening to you. You get to the end of the day, you've done 8 hours, and you're like, my timer says 3 hours billable. Where the
Mhm.
hell did all of my other time go? Because I was working on client work all day. And it's because you are not tracking your time properly. You do not have your timer on when you're doing that client work, all of it,
Mhm.
not just the tapping on your keyboard.
Yeah. And, the go-to excuses we hear virtual assistants use for not time tracking. It's just clunky that, I just can't get used to it. It's gonna be annoying switching it on and off. Like, you're gonna have to get used to it. Get
Mhm.
used to it.
Yeah, even
Stick
with
it
fixed
out.
fees. You think fixed fee projects means that you don't have to track your time? You're delusional. How are you going to know that your project that you just delivered for a client is profitable?
You don't know. Yeah, it's guesswork. You're then plucking numbers out of thin air and hoping you're gonna make some profit from it. Stop giving away your time for free. Speaking of giving away your time for free, leads on really well to number 8 on our list, which is gold plating. If you are not earning a minimum wage, you might be one of the virtual assistants that's gold plating. You are going above and beyond. In fact, your messaging might be loud and proud, sharing that you go above and beyond for your clients. You don't just give 100%, you give 120%.
This could look like, let's give an example of this one. Let's say you've done a website project. Nice, easy one to gold plate. Created the website, you've used the hours, and then you're like, oh, but I think I need to find a different font because I'm not quite sure if this is going to be okay. So I'm going to spend 2 hours researching fonts and going down a rabbit hole. And then, oh, I'm just going to tweak the spacing on here because it's just not quite right. And then, oh, they need to do some like off page SEO to get this website working really well. I'm going to just do some extra, like get some backlinks for them. I'm just making stuff up. I'm not a web designer. But like you just keep going that little bit further, getting extra time and things and putting them into this website project where actually you should have stopped at a certain point and handed that website over to them rather than continually tweaking and gold plating. Thoughts, Sam? Ever done that?
I feel yes. Let's be honest, I think we were in a situation very recently that we realized that we had done it ourselves with
Mm.
something. And it bit us on the bum because that person that we were working with all of a sudden was questioning when we did this thing for them again that the price is different or what extra am I going to get for that price? It was like, oh, well,
Mhm.
this is our stuff up. We gold plated last year, big time. And now we're actually
Yeah.
charging you what it's worth, the actual
Yeah.
value. It has bit us on the bum. And you can't go back and say, well, actually, we gold plated last year. We went above and beyond. So you're not getting anything extra for that extra amount that we've just tagged on.
Yeah. You are setting the expectation that what you delivered that first time gold plated is worth the money that you charge them for it.
Yeah.
You're
It's a
really biting yourself on the
It's
bum,
a
to use
slippery,
your phrase.
slippery slope, especially with the virtual assistants that, they're really proud of the work that they produce. The virtual assistants that are perfectionists. Yeah, the people-pleasing virtual
Mm,
assistants. You've got to know when to stop.
yeah. Okay. Our final reason why you may not be paying yourself minimum wage is that you've actually got overheads that are far too high for the stage in your business, the level of revenue that you have, and it means that you just don't have the profit left over. We see this with virtual assistants who want all the fancy tools and just keep adding subscription after subscription after subscription. And then they buy this thing over here and this digital product and that like get this coaching. But they actually have too many overheads and expenses in their business. And they're just literally spending all the money that comes in from their client
Yeah,
invoices.
yeah. If you are reaching out to a community of virtual assistants asking them, hey, I'm looking for a time tracking software or I'm looking for accounting software, what would you recommend? You need to remember that a lot of the recommendations that established virtual assistants are going to provide you are not necessarily the ones that they started off using 10 years ago. They increased as they got bigger and their revenue got higher. If you're a virtual assistant that gives advice to those aspiring virtual assistants, you need to think really carefully about the tools that you are suggesting. You need to go, okay, I know that I'm using this expensive tool now, but what was I using 10 years ago? Please be careful of the advice that you give
And the advice that you take.
and the advice that you take.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think another kind of trap that I know virtual assistants who this is their first business that they've had and they fall into this, and I've definitely done this, is that like your personal bank account, right? You've got your personal bank account and you know that that's the money that you can spend. So you spend what you have in your personal bank account. Like
Mhm.
that's what we do. When it comes to business though, that amount of money that's in your bank is not just for you to spend on anything that you want in your business. It's completely different. So we have to have a very different mindset of how we manage our own money in our own personal bank accounts to actually how we manage the money of our business in our business accounts. You need to be paying yourself. Don't go and spend all of the money that you have in your business bank account on business stuff. Actually make this worthwhile for you and pay yourself into your personal bank account. If you can get really clear on what it is that you can pay yourself as a regular weekly amount because you've got service paying clients, you know your predictable income for the future, do that. Pay yourself the same amount every week. Start building it up as you get more profitable. Make sure that that is a regular expense inside your business, is paying yourself. And that will help you not be in that trap of spending all the money that's in your business bank account or
Mm.
hoarding all of the
Mhm.
money in your business account, depending on your money personality style.
Yeah, this is true. I think we need to also just really bring it back to basics here and remind you part of your responsibility as a business owner, because whether you like it or lump it, you are a business owner. You actually need to be sitting down and looking at your numbers on a regular basis. It can't be I'm just going to leave it to the end of the financial year to do my tax. There's no more head in the sand. I'm not good with numbers. Oh, it's just so complicated. you've got to be aware, because if you're not aware of all your overheads and not aware that they're creeping up, could be why you're not bringing in a minimum wage.
Yep. Okay, there we have it. The 9 reasons why you are not earning more than minimum wage. Now, if this is you, we want you to make sure that this would be the right decision for you in terms of where you spend your money. If you wanted our help to figure this out with you, to put some things in place and give you a really big turnaround so that you can absolutely be earning more than minimum wage and make this worth it, then come into the Scale It Mastermind with us. You can have a review, have a look at everything, your pricing, your packages, and we can start helping you put in some processes and some policies that are absolutely going to help you start earning what you want to in your business. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the mastermind and the amazing resources, courses, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.